First subject here, joy is louder when we clap for others. And I guess my thoughts on this is that's kind of a team culture thing, especially when we first started going from more of an individual to having a lot more duels. I noticed that, we had to really talk about that in our team and the team culture that we really need to pay attention. I think you even see it when we were all down in Florida, and you could almost see it on the teams that really, the coaches that show team unity and have everybody doing stuff like that, even though they might have just came together, you can see the teams that compete better and stuff. Anybody have any thoughts on clapping louder for each other?
I honestly have to say that honestly, other people's successes feel better than even your own most of the time. Seeing someone that you care about that works beside you every day and see them finding success, I don't know, it's always warmed my heart, and I think that's really important too. It's when even if you meet your goals, they're not quite as sweet if you don't have people around you and you're not around there for other people when they find those successes either.
I think definitely as coaches, we see that all the time. I mean, that's the best part, is watching that first win or see someone have some type of success, whether that be they learned a new takedown and they actually used it in a match, or a win, a big win, things like that. I've asked Adam to kind of take a fellowship of Christian athlete approach to some of these topics. Adam, did you find anything for us on this?
Yeah, one that jumped out to me, a verse that jumped out on this topic is, it's from Romans 12, verse 15. It runs for a few verses, but it says, "Be happy with those who are happy, weep with those who weep, live in harmony with each other. Don't be too proud to enjoy the company of ordinary people, and don't think you know it all." I think just that solidarity and rejoicing when others have victories, I think that goes such a long way to establishing a team culture. I also think that just in general, Iowa girls wrestling does a really good job of this. Different programs and different coaches encouraging other programs and coaches that aren't their own. I think it's a neat aspect that maybe isn't as prevalent on the boys side, and I hope it really sticks on the girls side out of just kind of the foundation and beginning growth phase. I hope it's something that remains as we go through, and I think a lot of the off-season stuff goes a long way to contributing to that too, that like Rachel talked about and everything, and you've talked about with Florida teams, just seeing how everybody comes together and encourages, just builds the whole culture within your own room, within the state, and then ultimately across the country for us.
Rachel, you were on the world stage for a little while there. You traveled the United States with Team USA, and what's the culture like? I'm assuming that on Team USA we cheer for everybody. Was that the culture?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing is, what's awesome about putting on a U.S. singlet is that you're representing the country, and we want anybody in that singlet. It doesn't matter if it's a Greco guy and I don't know his name. You're cheering him on.
Anybody got anything else to add before we end this subject, and we'll go on to another one, and that'll be in the next episode.
I do want to, just from my own wrestling experience, I had a cool instance when I was competing that just has always stuck out and has always, I think, helped shape my thinking on some of this, especially when you're going inside out to somebody else's program. But I had a kid from Lisbon. His name was Cody Wallace, and we wrestled like basically every weekend, it seemed like, growing up. And I went to my first ever freestyle tournament, and I had no idea what the rules were even. My wrestling partner told me there was more wrestling and gave me a ride there. And so I was like, yep, I'll do it. And I got to like my second match, and all of a sudden Cody, this kid from another town that we were kind of rivals as we wrestled, and his coach, Coach Hale from Lisbon, they both came and started coaching me from the corner. I didn't have a coach there. I just had one teammate who we were the same weight, so he was wrestling at the same time. And it was really cool to have them come along into the corner and coach me up. And I thought that was a really selfless thing, as we're both trying to get better in the off season, him helping me work towards my goals, to the point even that I didn't know you were supposed to have like a sweat towel in between periods. And he pulled the shirt off his own back, literally gave me the shirt off his own back to wipe my sweat down with. And I just thought it was a really cool, selfless thing that I think is just a good example for others to follow, and that we try to emulate with what we're doing with our program too.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's a good story. That's a great example of definitely putting others ahead of yourself, clapping for others. I think it's super important.